First off, shout out the number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of people online, especially on Twitter, calling it the Mickey Mouse 1 seed. Whatever. Say what you want. But if you really want to break that down, we can get into that. Let's go ahead and just do it. So, the Buffalo Bills. This podcast is mainly going to be directed at my hatred for Bills Mafia. Maybe not the best, smartest thing to do. I'm definitely trying to make an NFL podcast here. I want, all fans of all 32 teams to come to me, listen to football, just talk, but I have a hard time believing that Buffalo Bills fans are going to be coming to listen to the Conor Moriarty podcast, or the name is to be decided. But I'm telling you right now, Bills fans, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit, and I'm not going to fake it like the mainstream media. The Buffalo Bills are complaining, not the Bills themselves. The organization is actually kind of, I respect the organization. I respect Sean McDermott, Josh Allen. The way they handled the Damar Hamlin situation was great. Shout out Damar Hamlin. I hope he has a speedy recovery. Hopefully one day he plays football again. But this ain't about any of that. This is about their fan base, the worst fan base in sports. The Buffalo Bills just love to talk shit on Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe I'm a Chiefs fan. Maybe that's why my hatred is so distinct for the Bills. But all they like to do, especially after last year when they lost in the divisional playoffs in Kansas City, one of the greatest games we've ever watched, they all act like that game don't even count. I mean, I remember when the game happened, going just to clown on all the Bills fans that have just been so... Bills fans think Josh Allen is 1A, 1B with Patrick Mahomes. And if you really want to argue that, I ain't got time for you. But that's what we're dealing with here. Josh Allen on the same level as Patrick Mahomes. Get real, guys. But there's people that think, the overtime rules changed because of what happened in the game last year. Like, come on, guys. There's a game, 60-minute football game, one of the most violent games in the entire world. I mean, you have your chances. You go up and down the field, 4 quarters. Literally, you all score the final blow. Everyone thought it. I seen the Bills fans cheering in Arrowhead Stadium, just going nuts, crying because they thought they were going to the AFC title. Just for Patrick Mahomes to score a game-winning field goal with 13 seconds left. And there's all these excuses and excuses and excuses from Bills fans. We had 13 seconds left. We had to make a 50-yard field goal with Harrison Butker. I mean... And then we get the ball first in overtime, drive the entire distance, score Travis Kelce, win the fucking game, and people bitching, acting like it's not fair? What the fuck are you talking about? Not fair? The very next week, the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that in the first half, they look like they already had the Super Bowl Lombardi on their shelf in Kansas City. And then just second half, most abysmal performance I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes, I loved listening to his podcast with Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce when he owned up to basically choking. Thank God he owned up to that, because he did. And the whole entire team did. It wasn't just Mahomes. But my big thing with that is, in the Bengals game, the very next week, we get the ball first. Mahomes throws a pick. Bengals beat us with a game-winning field goal. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but I really want to see an overtime game just to see how this plays out. Like, I'm not... Okay, both teams getting a chance. If one team scores a touchdown, like, it's not like it's the end of the world, but there's 2 sides of the ball, offense and defense. If you cannot stop a team from scoring after a 60-minute game where we're trying to just find a fucking winner, but no, let's just prolong it. If they score, then they score, then we'll just keep going like that. Then what happens when they score, Buffalo, let's say in an imaginary world, Buffalo, Kansas City in that playoff game. Kansas City scores, then Buffalo does. And then Kansas City scores. Well, Buffalo didn't get a second chance in overtime. This shit is stupid. Bills fans are stupid, it seems like. But then, let's get back to the present time. Right now, 2022, 2023 season. Bills fans calling Chiefs Mickey Mouse 1 seed. The Chiefs lost to the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals this year. Hats off to you. Congratulations on the win. But I have a couple takes on that aspect. If you think, the Bengals have beat the Chiefs 3 straight games. So, they got our number. We need to beat them. That's for sure. And we'll definitely be getting up for that game. Bills, we've played each other, 5 times in the last 3 seasons? We know each other really well, get up for each other, circling that game on the calendar every year, and especially after the playoff game. But we've traveled to Cincinnati, played the Bengals, lost, had the game, was leading in the 4th. Travis Kelce's fumble really hurt us, but we went in there. We played that game. We played Buffalo week 6, lost 24-20. Mahomes threw a pick on the last drive. Was in a position where we could have maybe won that game. We lost. But my thing is, week 17, the Bengals-Bills game is canceled because of the tragedy with Damar Hamlin. That was the hardest game on both teams' schedule. But let's talk about it from the Bills' perspective. That was the toughest game the Bills had on their schedule. You said they beat Kansas City week 6. Wasn't that the toughest game? No, because like I said, Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills have played each other a handful of times over the last few years. They know kind of what to expect in a sense. When it comes to Buffalo Cincinnati, week 17, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow have never played each other, ever. Now they're meeting up week 17 when everyone's focused on seeding and playoff, matchups, getting the highest seed possible. And straight up, what was it? If Buffalo wins, they're going to be hosting Cincinnati. Well, Buffalo could have kept the 1 seed if they would win out. That's the only gripe I get with Buffalo fans. If you beat Cincinnati and then beat New England, you're the 1 seed. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? Your hardest game on your schedule got canceled. There's no getting around that. Every other team in the NFL played 17 games this season. And I know you can't control what happened, but the hardest game on the Buffalo Bills schedule was canceled. In Cincinnati, the current number 3 seed, just 1 game back as far as losses are concerned, gets taken off the schedule. And I'm not even talking about the 7. Yeah, Buffalo was losing 7-3. Cincinnati was marching. Blah, 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 blah. The game's canceled. But just straight up, I absolutely think Buffalo was going to lose that game. But I base that off of the fact everyone's acting like Buffalo is the Super Bowl favorite like they were at the beginning of the season. The first half of the season, Buffalo was the best team in the league, and I hated it. But ever since the Josh Allen elbow injury, but more importantly, when Von Miller tore his ACL out for the rest of the year, you've lost one of the most destructive pass rushers in the league. And, you watched the Chiefs game. He got to Mahomes, I think, twice. But the leader of their pass rushing, gone. Micah Hyde, a safety, he's out for the year. Now, with the tragedy that happened to Damar Hamlin, I think some other DB got hurt that game. There's injuries galore on this Buffalo team. Josh Allen ain't the Josh Allen from early on in the season. Led the NFL in turnovers. And just the broadcast team brought it up last week. It's just like they're throwing Hail Marys every time. Just throw it up. Hopefully Josh will get it done. That's not going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. This game is going to be so fun between Cincinnati and Buffalo. But I'm kind of scatterbrained here. I'm all over the place. But I just really wanted to drive home the point that Buffalo fans are delusional. And their hardest game of their season was taken off the schedule. And they actually think that they should keep the 1 seed because of it. I think basically, that game being only a 1-quarter game, chalk that up as a bye week. I know with everything going on mentally, around the Damar Hamlin situation. I mean, I know it wasn't like a normal bye week, but I mean, let's say you guys lose. You lose to the Bengals and none of that happens. You wouldn't have had the 1 seed anyways. Now you're getting to possibly have a neutral site. You're not going to have to go to Kansas City. Buffalo is now hosting Cincinnati in the divisional round, when if they would have lost, Buffalo would be traveling to Cincinnati. I definitely think Buffalo's won like 7 straight games in the season or something, but that is not true to the team identity, I believe. I think that the biggest thing they have going for them is that Damar Hamlin's coming out of the tunnel before the Cincinnati Bengal game, I would assume. Big pop, going to have the team up. But in the injuries to the Cincinnati Bengal O-line, I think Buffalo has a good chance to win this game. But I'm telling you right now, I'm a biased Kansas City Chiefs fan. But I'm telling you, there's no way we lose to Buffalo in the AFC title. If we lose, I'll put up a whole video breaking down some fucking NFL rigged shit. I'm telling you, because that's the only way. It's the only way. I'm telling you, this Buffalo team does not look good. And it's not that they were looking down to the Miami Dolphins. It's not that. Because I'm telling you, that game was close before going into halftime. And Josh Allen gets sacked, stripped, touchdown for the Dolphins. I mean, he throws a touchdown to Cole Beasley or something in that second half. But, I mean, the Bills didn't really... I mean, if they're playing against a competent quarterback, they are not playing this weekend. So, what? Basically, I just wanted to drive home the point that the Buffalo Bills need to shut the hell up on Twitter. My Twitter is @CMotivated7. So if you're a Bills fan listening to this and you want to get engaged, holler at me. Say what's up. But I mainly just wanted to bring up that point. I wanted to bring that up before last weekend's games, but I didn't. But essentially, really need a Kansas City Chiefs victory. And honestly, I wanted to play the Bengals in the AFC title to get redemption from last year and to, counteract the 3 straight losses. But give me the fucking Buffalo Bills. Kansas City Chiefs will not lose to Buffalo. Our D-line will get after our Allen this time. He ain't going to just be able to run all over the place. I'm telling you right now, on that neutral site, Atlanta, Buffalo fans, we're going to show why Kansas City is the #1 fan base, because that's going to be a home game in Atlanta. Patrick Mahomes will beat the Buffalo Bills. Let me go ahead and give you my game picks. So, Kansas City Chiefs, spread I think is 9.5 against Jaguars. I think Chiefs cover that spread. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out. I think the Chiefs are a team on a mission. This is going to be a game that is not close the entirety, I feel like. Now, I could see the Jags covering at the very last second. But I'm telling you guys, when they played week 11 or whatever it was in the NFL season this year, Jacksonville kicks the onside kick to start the game and is still down 14-0 in the second quarter. They end up losing by 10 points. They concussed Juju. That was the game where Kadarius Toney had the one hop all the way into the end zone. I remember that game like it was just yesterday. It wasn't competitive. I was listening to a podcast. I love Greenlight Podcast with Chris Long. Shout out him. I mean, he played in the NFL. He probably knows more than me, whatever. But he is so dead wrong about. He said, "Oh yeah, Jacksonville played Kansas City real tough that one game this season." No, they didn't. It wasn't tough. We should win this game 10 times out of 10. I'm being very overconfident. Probably set myself up for failure, but I live and die with the Chiefs, baby. Trying to get the flag out, but it's like stuck on something. Well, backwards, maybe. That's Super Bowl champs. About to happen again, guys. I got the Chiefs beating Jags and covering the spread. Let's give a score of, I like 31-16. 31-16. Kansas City wins. Saturday night, we got the Giants taking on the New York Giants. Sorry, the New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Really think the Eagles could be on upset alert with this one. I'm telling you guys, Jalen Hurts basically hasn't played for 6 weeks. He played the last week of the season, didn't look that great against the Giants B team, essentially. I do think the Eagles will win, but I would be big on Giants spread. I think it's 7.5 points. I think this is a field goal game. I think the Eagles win on a field goal. Let's go 27-24. I got the Eagles. And then we'll take it into Sunday, and we got the Bills and the Bengals. I'm telling you, Bengals, if that offensive tackle position was a little healthier, I would be picking Bengals all day. I do want to beat the Bills because I hate the Bills. The one thing about the Bengals is their fan base isn't as just what's the word? Senile? Yeah. Buffalo fans are senile. I do think Buffalo, when I seen Buffalo was favored by 5.5 points, I'm just, what's Vegas doing? I think that Damar Hamlin bump is going to really go big for the Buffalo, I keep wanting to say Buffalo Bengals. Let me just get off this topic. I've been talking about them enough. I think the Bills are going to go ahead and win this game, though. I'll give a score of 31-27. 31-27. I got a lot of 31s in here. And then finally, the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be a fun game. I'm really pulling for the Cowboys. I want Dak to win. I've seen a lot of stuff lately about Brock Purdy. Like, basically, people are saying they'd rather have Brock Purdy right now than Dak Prescott. But I'm telling you right now, if Dak Prescott was on the 49ers and Brock Purdy was on the Cowboys, I just know the Cowboys wouldn't be as good. 49ers might be about the same. Can't take anything away from what Brock Purdy's doing, though. He's doing everything they asked of him. But if they were playing any other team last week, they probably would have been out because he was missing a lot of passes early. Their chemistry seemed a little off, the offense. But then, just like that, Debo takes it to the house, or Christian McCaffrey has that big run early in the game, and then Debo just goes nuts. They just have so much talent. I want to pick Dallas, but I actually have a future bet on San Francisco losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So let's get the Niners to the bowl, but I really want to pick against the Niners because I'm big into the sports card community. And if y'all seen the prices of Brock Purdy's rookie cards right now, oh my Lord, it doesn't make sense. I'm telling you right now, Brock Purdy numbered cards are going for more money than Joe Burrow like autographs, rookies, and that's just hard to wrap your mind around. But so those are the games this weekend. I just wanted to get a quick pod out before next week. We're gonna really dive into breaking down the games next week. I'm gonna get D-Mart and Josh back on the pod, and we're gonna break down the season, give out our awards, MVPs, and all that stuff. But we'll go through that shit quick because we got big stuff we gotta talk about. Like, I'm talking the fantasy lock of the year. I'm talking meatball man of the year. Those guys that put up them great stats, 10 carries for 12 yards, them kind of days. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming. I just wanted to get back to it. We're not going nowhere. So yeah, appreciate y'all checking this out. Bills fans, sound off in the comments. I know you will. Hopefully this gets to y'all. Hopefully that YouTube algorithm can find y'all, find me. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. This was a quick one. And yeah, we'll be back next week after the Chiefs take down the Jags. And I don't know, I just really wanted to talk about how much I hate the Bills on this podcast. So I appreciate y'all checking it out. Much love.